Hey guys, today I will be replacing the spark plugs on the 2008 Nissan Armada. So I'm replacing the spark plugs with laser platinum. It is recommended every 105,000 miles you want to change it out. And here's what the spark plug look like inside. Some come pre-lubed with anti-seize on the thread, but this one doesn't have it, so I'm going to add it. Also, you want to add silicone paste on the top as well. These are the tools I'll be using today. This is a short needle nose plier, a long needle nose plier, a flathead screwdriver, a 10mm ratchet wrench. This is a 3/8 ratchet. It's shorter for tight spaces, and this is a 3/8 ratchet with a 1-inch extension. And this is my spark plug remove tool. It's a 5/8 inch, and you also need a 10mm socket to remove the bolt. These are the lube that I'll be using on the spark plugs. This is the anti-seize, and this is the silicone paste for it. So this vehicle is a V8. So there's 4 spark plugs on each side, 4 on the right and 4 on the left. First, I'm going to remove the ignition coil connector, and it's right here. Just press down on it and then lift the connector up. It can be tight, so I recommend a plier, and then pry it up with a flathead screwdriver. Next one, you pinch on the top and then pull down. Same with this one right here. Pinch on top, wiggle it, pull down, and the last one in the back. So what I did is pinch the top, this tab right here, pinch it down, and then wiggle it out of the connector of the ignition coil. So after that, you want to remove 4 of the 10mm bolt that's holding down the ignition coil. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm using a 1-inch extension with a 10mm socket. Now remove the ignition coil. Pull up and it just comes out. So I'm using a 5/8 inch spark plug socket with a 1-inch extension. Put in my spark plug hole. And now I'm going to break it loose. And here's the spark plug. So on the left side is even a tighter space. So same thing. Remove the ignition coil connector, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then remove the 10mm bolt, and then pull the ignition coil out. So to remove this bolt right here, I'm going to remove this bracket that's holding this harness down. So I'm going to remove this 10mm bolt so I can push it out of the way to get access to this bolt. I'm using a 10mm wrench. That's a ratchet, so I don't have to keep on taking it out and put it back in. I'm using a smaller ratchet to get access to this because the long one would hit these pieces. So I'm using this to turn it easier. This is the last bolt for the ignition coil. Now lift up the ignition coil. Now remove the spark plug. If you want more room, you can remove this clip right here from the bracket so that you could move this wire harness out of the way so that your ratchet can swing. There you go. Since the long ratchet is getting in the way over here, I'm using the smaller ratchet to remove it. Alright, once you have your old 8 spark plugs removed, here's your 8 new ones. You're going to lube the thread with the anti-seize lube, and then the top, or the ignition coil, you could lube with the silicone paste right here. You're going to do with all 8, and then you're going to put it back in. Alright, now we're putting the spark plug back. And we're going to torque this thing down to 18 foot-pounds. I'm hand tightening with a ratchet, so if you have a torque wrench, go ahead and use that. If you want, you can lube the tip of the ignition coil right here, the rubber part, with silicone paste. Then put the 10mm bolt back in. And I'm hand tightening this with a 10mm socket. Put the connector back in. It should snap in place. Make sure to put the bracket bolt back in. Make sure to put the clip back in to the bracket right here by the power steering fluid reservoir bracket. Put back your spark plug. Go ahead and lube the right side of the ignition coil tip. Put the bolt back in. Tighten the bolt back down. Snap the connector back in. Now turn on your car and make sure there's no check engine light. There's no check engine light and you're all good to go.